Get ready, America, because you're about to see the best of Split Hoof tonight, Sweet Swine County's #1 late night show.
Live from Sweet Swine County, where every day is sweet, it's Split Hoof Tonight with Billy Gates and the Broken Windows Band. Hi, I'm Earl Silo, and now let's welcome Sweet Swine's one and only Cousin John.
Thanks, folks. Hey, welcome to another great installment of Split Hoof Tonight. Earl, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, Cousin John.
Earl, didn't you go to little college there?
Why, yes, I did.
Did you go down to old Purdue University?
That's the one.
You know, they called me up the other day. They want me to come down there and teach a class to the kids and tell them all about economics. Since I'm so successful, they want me to tell them how economics really works. So let me try out my first lecture on you.
Okay.
Sit back and listen to old Professor Olson here. You know, things have been kind of tough nowadays, you know, the recession. You know, some people are having a tough time finding a job. Things are kind of slow around old Split Hoof here. You know, you got farmers are out in the field, so they're not coming to town spending money. You got guys out hunting. They're off hunting places. They're not coming around here. You got kids, got all the school activities, all that kind of stuff. Things have been kind of tight. Well, down at old Ma Brewster's boarding house the other day, this old fancy-dancy traveling salesman from over by Winona over there, he comes in and says, hey, he says, I'd like to take a look at some of your rooms. Let me do this. He pulls out a $100 bill, lays it on the counter. He says, I'm going to run upstairs, take a look at the rooms. I'm going to need to stay in a room, and I might have some meetings and stuff. So I just kind of want to inspect your facilities. Let me borrow your master key. Okay. So Ma gives him the key. She's looking at that $100 bill just a drooling. She grabs it real quick. She runs over across the street, over to Edie's over there, and she pays Chef Randy for her food bill. Well, Chef Randy's got the $100 bill in his hand. He goes, oh. He runs down to Martin's butcher shop and pays the butcher for all the meat that he's cut up that he sold to everybody else and Ma Brewster. Well, Martin thinks to himself, boy, I got some money. I better take care of this. He runs over to Marvin Monroe, was over at Edie's there, sitting down eating. Says, Marvin, here's that $100 I owe you for your livestock. Marvin goes, well, that's great. He takes it, swallows down his coffee, busts right out the door and runs down to Clem Johnson's feed supply.
Okay.
Pays on his bill $100. Well, behind the counter there's old Willie Odom. Well, Willie looks at that and goes, ooh, I got a bill I got to take care of. He goes out and finds old Jubilee. You know Jubilee. She's kind of the lady of the evening in Sweet Swine County. Things got kind of tough on old Jubilee. She has had to resort to taking credit. But Willie paid up to her. So old Jubilee goes, oh, I got $100. She runs right across the street, gets over to Ma Brewster's boarding house, slaps down the $100 bill on the counter, and says, this is for my room. Ma Brewster thinks, looking at that, goes, hey, this is great. Now if this guy comes downstairs, he's not going to know any difference. Just about that time, the guy comes downstairs and goes, you know what? That meeting room's a little bit small, and that bed was a little soft. You know, I'm going to find someplace else to stay, but I appreciate your hospitality. Picks up his $100, puts it back in his pocket, and leaves, never to be seen from again. Now, some really weird things happened there. The whole town's out of debt. Nobody produced anything, and nobody's got anything left. And that, my students, is exactly how the federal government works. Okay, hey, anyway, folks, we got a great show tonight. Super guest, but before we bring him on, we're going to run and see what one of our residents is doing outside Sweet Swine County. We'll be right back.
Get ready, because now you can watch a full of fun daytime talk show that shares the latest and greatest news about the people, places, and events found all over our story country. The Women of Sweet Swine County, hosted by 3 sassy ladies that tell small town stories with big town attitude. Now on this station and the web.
Where'd all this stuff come from?
Isn't that something?
Where'd all that come from?
I'm wondering, do you suppose that's part of our guest?
I'll bet it is. Folks, you're in for a big treat tonight, let me tell you that. Coming to us now from Clay County down in Iowa, in Spencer, we have along with us tonight, evidently somebody responsible for this stuff here, and it's gorgeous. Let me tell you what. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Perry Polson. Well, hey, Perry, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you having here. Folks, Perry Polson from Wildwood Turning in Spencer, Iowa. So, tell us a little bit about what. Now, wait a second. Spencer. Do they have a fairgrounds down there, don't they? And
Clay County Fair is the biggest county fair in the United States.
Oh, that's where I had heard that. No, I'm just teasing with you. I know that. But tell us a little bit about your business, what you do down there.
My Wildwood Turning business involves teaching people and custom turning for people from anything from their lilac bush in the backyard to the giant walnut tree in their front yard. Anything that's going to be taken down from development, storm damage, just in need to be removed, can be turned into something that they can cherish for a lifetime instead of just discarding.
So you're saying you can, if I've got a special tree that means something to me and I got a chunk of that wood, I can bring that wood to you and you'll make me something out of it?
Exactly, or I can help you make something out of it.
Oh, I was reading up a little bit. So you give classes? How does that work?
I have beginner classes. I start classes at 10 years old, and that's mainly between center turnings, like the ink pen I have on your desk. Things like that for smaller kids and people that have never touched a lathe before.
This kind of reminds me, when I was a kid, I had a thing called a Mattel Power Shop that had a little lathe, and I could make things about this big, but I could never make two that looked alike, but that was kind of neat. So do you have like a special wood that's your favorite to work with?
My favorite wood to work with is lilac. For one reason, it's got a lot of grain change direction in it, a lot of color. It's got a lot of purples.
Wow, so the
So
purple's on the
that's
inside,
not that's not dyed. That's
No,
that's
that's all
actually-
natural.
That is wow.
But the lilac, my favorite part is it smells like the flowers when you're working with it.
oh wow.
Because when you turn a piece of oak or a piece of cottonwood, you range from urine smell to barnyard smell.
Depending on what they've been planted by. Right? So how long have you been doing turning wood?
The extent that I do now, I've been turning for about 5 years. I've been located on Main Street in Spencer, right on Highway 71 for 3 years now, and been turning since high school shop class.
Wow. So if people wanted to see your work, where could they go to see?
I've got
some
it
of
in
this
a gallery in Spirit Lake called A Piece of Work.
Okay.
Arts on Grand in Spencer. Mm-hmm. And then once a year we put on a multi-artist feature called Artisans Road Trip. Mm-hmm. And people drive around all the different studios and see different people's art.
Oh, so they all come around to your
Right.
place, not that you guys go travel around to them.
This year during Artisans Road Trip, I had over 100 people through my shop from all over the world.
So now if people want to come to your shop, do you give them demonstrations and tours of the place and all that kind of stuff?
I give a quick tour to anybody that's interested, and if I know you're coming, I can set up a demo. I frequently do women's groups, classes for schools, and when I do classes for schools, it's always fun to put a fresh piece of wood on so I can make a big mess for the kids.
They like messes. So if a guy wanted to get into this and start, obviously you're gonna have to teach him a little bit, but say he wanted to get some of his own equipment and that start doing that, is that something that's real difficult or real expensive to get started?
Tools and equipment can be as expensive as you let them be. Mm-hmm. And my biggest thing at Wildwood is I show you how to do it without spending all that money. Granted, you can if you want to, but you don't need to. I can often tell people that I can get them turning for under $200.
One of your, you got so many gorgeous pieces here. One like this lilac.
That one's actually treated on the inside, so you can drink out of it.
You can drink out of it, okay. So how long does it take you to turn out a piece like that?
I've got probably 15 hours in that.
That's kind of neat, like with these colors and stuff. When you get a piece of wood and you're just, you're looking at a log, how do you know what's inside there?
I do what you call reading the bark. Like on this piece, you see the spiny feature around the edge is what they call the burl. And the surface of the bark kind of tells me, after staring at trees enough, I can look at the bark and tell that there's a burrow underneath of it and where the highest features are going to be. But each one of those little spiny things turns into the bird's eye figuring in the wood.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's really cool. So now your store down there in Spencer, show us a couple other ones here.
Well, when I find the natural edge on a piece, that gets a little more involved because that's what you start with.
Okay.
Is finding where that natural edge is going to be. They also call it a live edge. And then when the piece gets turned to a certain extent, then you can start filling in the transparent resins and stuff that I use.
You got a website then, Perry?
Wildwoodturning.com.
That's right. Get that down here. www.wildwoodturning.com. We'll get that down. You know, I got to ask you one other thing. This thing here just intrigues me. This isn't sap or amber in here. What?
It's a polyester resin.
That is just amazing. How do you do that in the?
I use a polyester because it keeps some flexibility with the wood.
Because that wood's gonna expand and contract over.
Wood always
wet.
never stops moving. This piece is being done for breast cancer awareness. It'll be auctioned off this next month.
That's gorgeous.
But that's the same material, colored pink.
Colored pink. Okay. So then you do the same with this turquoise stuff?
The turquoise is a granulated turquoise material that I put in there, and then it's set in with the same resin.
Oh, wow.
Colored black.
Hey, Perry, this has been really enlightening, and it's beautiful stuff. We'd like to, what do we got here?
I'd like to give the whole studio audience
everybody
a Wildwood t-shirt.
Folks, that just goes to show you again why this is the hottest ticket in town. Thank you very much. That'll be great. Well, Perry, thanks again for stopping by.
Appreciate
Earl,
it.
good report tonight.
Well, thank you, cousin.
Keep tweeting out there.
I'm going to keep chirping away.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Whistling.
Folks, stop back and see us again next time. We might even have a band that time. But for now, good night, everybody.